Our Belgrade Waterfront.
Expand Belgrade to the waterfront? Sounds pretty familiar. Up until the 17th century, the White City was nothing more than a military garrison above an estuary, only hinting at the possibilities. Nevertheless, it remained barren swampland for a long time, until some merchants settled there and decided to build the main railway station, along with a few other stylistically ornate buildings and hotels. Anyone who cared about Belgrade, or has happened to conquer it, has attempted to leave their mark on this exact area. Nevertheless, up until a few years ago, the Savamala and Venetian Pond areas were left to decay in commercial traffic, except for a few cultural institutions' attempts at breathing new life into it. Prior to suddenly becoming the center of a new culture wave dubbed the Balkan Berlin by foreigners. 2012 saw the dawning of a number of highly ambitious development projects in Savamala and the surrounding areas. The public was presented with a vision, the Belgrade Waterfront, which would supposedly transform the capital into the region's central destination, making Serbia all the more attractive to investment and tourism, while simultaneously maintaining parks, pedestrian zones and cultural heritage sites. What a phenomenal idea and a long-awaited undertaking. The project envisions the construction of 6,135 square meter units with a price tag of roughly 400,000 euros each and a 90-year average payment plan. But can Belgrade enhance its touristic offer with 99% of funding earmarked for residential development and only 1% for culture? And what exactly will this new neighborhood look like? For a start, let's imagine 20 new Belgrade palaces and 10 ENG building high-rises in a tiny area stretching from Karađorđeva Street to the river, and a tower larger than the Avala Tower on the waterfront's edge. The image certainly seems cosmopolitan, but also cold and austere, as if not meant for us ordinary folk. But hey, let's be positive, let's do what we can. Let's clear the area, build the necessary infrastructure, change the necessary laws, indebt ourselves to the tune of, what, 50, 80, 400, 600 million euros? Phase 1 construction begins. The shopping mall is constructed, along with 2 residential buildings, a hotel and a tower. A year passes and the only demand for apartments comes from an accidental tourist or one of the few locals with means. The buildings remain so isolated in their somber clearings, inaccessible to the public. Potential buyers and investors leave disappointed since they can look at steel and glass towers at home, whereas medieval castles and fortresses are far and few between. Investors' remorse is all too familiar a concept, especially when reality peters out compared to its vision of grandeur. That's exactly why we should all think about this again, together, so we can put Belgrade back on the map. Belgrade is the only capital city in Europe with not one but 2 rivers that doesn't live on them. One need not travel far, Budapest is close enough, to marvel at the beauty of Danube's waterfront with its maintained buildings, bridges and walkways. Our neighbor city earns an estimated 4 billion euros from tourism in a year alone. Or how about Vienna's New Year's concert? Tickets are sold on the internet several years in advance. Belgrade's most prominent attractions are inexorably tied to its culture and its people. It's people who populate the streets and fill the venues which make Belgrade recognizable and full of possibilities. That's why excluding the people from Belgrade from this project is not only unfair but potentially disastrous, as are all backroom deals away from public eyes. Rather than simply accusing to an unoriginal, mundane, stereotypical design, why not ask the original creators of the Belgrade Waterfront project to include us, the residents, who will have to use and maintain this space for decades and centuries to come? A cooperative and inclusive venture would only serve to create a truly unique ambience befitting our city, which would only attract a further number of people enamored by the blending of European and Balkan spirits. By opening up this space to the river, the entire waterfront will come alive with cultural and entertainment events accessible to everyone. When instead of a few unnecessary high-rises, we could build an opera, an interactive science museum or an old trade center, the waterfront would become a special place where we could, with pride, showcase our rich tradition and history and preserve it for generations to come. Belgrade would finally descend to the river in style, to the immense satisfaction of its residents, a great many visitors and, of course, investors. Wake up for your Belgrade Waterfront.